What if the thing that you've been craving in your nursing career isn't rest, it's belonging? Think about it for a second. This isn't about self care bubble baths or meditation apps. This is about safety, real support, a community that gets it and gives you permission to stop holding it all in because you've been carrying too much for far too long and you deserve better. Hi, I'm Teresa Sanderson. I'm the founder of Nurses Feed Their Young. And if you've ever felt invisible at work as a nurse, even when you're surrounded by people, you're not alone. If you ever felt isolated in your struggles, like no one could possibly understand what you're going through, you're not alone. If you've ever felt like you're barely hanging on, holding it together by a thread, wondering how much longer you can keep going and doing like this, you're not alone. And today I'm sharing why every nurse deserves a safe space to land, a community where you can be real, vulnerable, and human. And more importantly, I'm going to tell you where you can finally find it. So let's start by naming the problem. Nurses are some of the most isolated professionals in healthcare, and that is not an accident. It's by design. From day one of nursing school, we've been trained to stay silent, to tough it out, not to burden our team with our emotions or our needs. We're taught that good nurses are strong, that we can handle things, and that we don't complain, and that we put the patient first, always, even if it means sacrificing our own well-being. And here's the devastating part. Emotional pain is treated like weakness in nursing culture. If you're struggling, you're told it's because you're not resilient enough, you're not strong enough, you're not grateful enough, or you're not cut out for this kind of work. So you learn to stay quiet and you learn to compartmentalize. You learn to push down your feelings because there's just no time to process them and no safe space to share them in. But here's the truth. That's cultural conditioning. That's not reality. Feeling exhausted doesn't make you weak, and needing support doesn't make you less of a nurse. Being human in a profession that demands superhuman effort doesn't mean you're failing. And yet, we spend our entire careers pouring into others, patients, families, our peers, communities, without ever being poured into ourselves. And we give and we give and we give. And when we're empty, we're told to dig deeper, to find more, to keep going. But you can't pour from an empty cup. And too many nurses are running on fumes with no one refilling their tank. That's why isolation is so common in nursing, not because we're antisocial or incapable of connection, but because the culture doesn't create space for it. Okay, so what happens when nurses are isolated for too long? Emotional numbness sets in. You stop feeling joy in the work that once lit you up. You go through the motions, but you're really not present anymore. And resentment builds. You start to resent your patients, your coworkers, your leaders, sometimes even yourself. Not because you're a bad person, but because you're carrying too much alone. And exhaustion becomes your baseline, not the kind of tired that sleep can fix, the kind that makes you wonder if you'll ever feel like yourself again. And here's what's important for you to understand. This isn't happening because you hate nursing. It's happening because you feel all alone in it. Nurses are leaving the profession in droves, record numbers, and it's not because they can't handle the job. It's not because they're weak or uncommitted. They're leaving because they're tired of doing it alone. They're tired of being unsupported, tired of working in environments that expect everything and give nothing in return. Isolation kills passion. It kills joy. And if you're not careful, it kills careers. But it doesn't have to be this way. Actually look like for nurses. First, it should be proactive, not reactive. We shouldn't have to wait until we're in crisis to access support. We shouldn't have to hit rock bottom before somebody notices that we're struggling. Real support shows up before the breaking point. It's consistent, it's accessible, and it's available when nurses need it, not just when it's convenient for the system. Second, real support is nurse-to-nurse validation without judgment. It's not HR telling you to practice self-care. It's not a manager who's never worked bedside giving you advice. It's not a therapist who doesn't understand the unique challenges of nursing. It's other nurses, people who've been in your shoes, who know what it's like to lose a patient you've bonded with, who understand the weight of moral distress, and who get it without needing an explanation. Third, real support is a place for you to show up as you are, not as a version of you that's strong enough. You shouldn't have to perform. You shouldn't have to pretend you're okay when you're not. You shouldn't have to earn the right to be vulnerable. Real support says, come as you are, whatever you're feeling is valid. You don't have to have it all together. And that's what nurses deserve. That's what real community provides. So that's exactly why we created the Thriving Nurse Network. It was created to be a supportive community by nurses for nurses where toxicity isn't allowed and support is the standard. We've built real-time support rooms where you can connect with each other and other nurses live, share what's on your heart, ask for advice, or just listen and know you're not the only one. We offer mentorship from experienced nurses who've navigated the challenges you're facing right now. They're not there to tell you what to do. They're there to walk with you, support you, and remind you that you're capable. We provide education and resources that actually matter, not generic wellness content, but tools designed specifically for the realities that nurses face every day. This community was built by nurses who said, enough. Let's do it differently. Nurses who were tired of the isolation, tired of the toxic culture, and tired of watching other nurses suffer in silence. So we created something better, a space where nurses feed their young instead of eating their young, a place where connection is prioritized and where vulnerability is welcomed, where you can finally feel like you belong. Here's what I need you to hear today. You're not broken. You've just been unsupported. And there's a big difference. The system you're working in may be slow to change. The culture may take years to shift, but you don't have to wait for that. You don't have to keep suffering in silence while the system figures it out. A better nursing culture starts with community, and yours is already here, waiting for you. You deserve a space where you're seen, where you're valued, where you're supported, not just when it's convenient, but consistently, genuinely, and unconditionally. That's not too much to ask. That's the bare minimum, and it's what every nurse deserves. I want to invite you to join the Thriving Nurse Network today. It's free, it's nurse-led, and it's built just for you, because support shouldn't be a privilege reserved for those of us who can afford it or those who ask loudly enough. Support should be the standard, and in this community, it is. Click the link below this video and go ahead and sign up for Thriving Nurse Network. Get your free membership now. This is the community you've always needed. It's a place where you don't have to be perfect, where you can just be real. It's a place where you're not alone anymore. So if this video resonated with you, I encourage you, please like it and share it with another nurse who needs to hear it, because isolation ends when we start talking about it and when we start showing up for each other. Together, we can feed our young. Let's support each other and let's build the culture of nursing that we all deserved. I'll see you inside the Thriving Nurse Network. Thank you for watching. Happy holidays and Happy New Year. Bye-bye.